before we start, creator credit time. Thanks to Candice Holmes over on X Twitter. Give her a follow for setting us up with this lovely montage and the commentary. William, the hardest year I've ever had. And this is not the first time that he said this. Over the weekend, he also said that sleep is a very important part of his life. Not ending the homelessness crisis, not the Middle East, not helping out his subjects in the UK, not doing charity work. Sleep is one of the most important things in his life. Anyway, get to the point, Martin. While the rest of the UK struggle with rising mortgages, rising food costs, rising utility and energy costs, a lack of employment, low education levels, low wage rises, inflation that erodes the wage rise if you actually get one, William has had a really hard year. He literally is a billionaire who lives in luxury in multiple homes in the UK, can travel on private jets, private limos whenever he wants to, and he's had a tough year. What about all those families in the UK on NHS waiting lists, trying to get a career, in debt, trying to build themselves a better life? William does not give them one thought whatsoever. Disgusting. Comments are open as ever. Let me know what you think.
Funded farce, oh please. Prince William, heir to the throne and poster boy for inherited entitlement, has the audacity to whine about his toughest year. Yeah, because nothing screams hardship like shuffling between Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, all while your staff polishes your collection of Bentleys and your private jet idols on the tarmac. Meanwhile, back in the real world, you know, the one where actual humans scrape by on wages that barely cover rent, families are staring down the barrel of NHS waiting lists for cancer treatment that stretch longer than your family's history of dodging accountability. This isn't just tone deaf, it's a slap in the face with a diamond-encrusted glove. William's not having a tough year, he's living the dream we all subsidise, and his little pity party is the cherry on top of this steaming pile of royal hypocrisy. Let's break it down, shall we? William drops this gem in some glossy interview, moaning about the pressures of royal life post his brother Harry's exit and his dad's cancer diagnosis. Boo freaking who? The guy's got more homes than most people have pairs of socks. Kensington Palace for the city vibes, Anmer Hall on the Norfolk estate for those quiet weekends that involve shooting pheasants for sport. And don't get me started on the Duchy of Cornwall, that massive tax-free cash cow his old man handed over like it was a spare change. We're talking 130,000 acres of prime land, raking in millions annually from farms, rentals and who knows what else. All shielded from the taxman because, hey, rules are for peasants. And William? He's next in line to inherit that gravy train, plus whatever scraps from the sovereign grant. That's our money, funneled straight from the treasury, to keep the Windsors in caviar and corgis. Imagine this. You're a single mum in Manchester juggling 2 jobs because the cost of living crisis has turned groceries into a luxury item. Your kid's got a cough that won't quit, but the GP wait is 3 weeks out. Or worse, you're the one with the lump that the doc says needs checking. But the oncology queue is 6 months deep because the NHS is crumbling under austerity cuts that William's mates in the Tory elite love to peddle. That's a tough year. That's the kind of gut-wrenching, sleep-stealing nightmare that keeps you up at night wondering if you'll see your next birthday. Now picture William, fresh from his exhausting schedule of ribbon cuttings and photo ops, hopping into a chauffeured Bentley, taxpayer-funded, naturally to jet off to Mustique or wherever the hell billionaires park their yachts. Security detail? A small army, all on the dole from public funds. Difficult year. The man's got more handlers than a rock star on tour, and his biggest worry is whether the paparazzi caught him with spinach in his teeth. It's not just the jets and the yachts. Though let's linger there for a sec, because why not rub it in? While you're clipping coupons for baked beans, Williams' crew charters flights that burn more fuel in one hop to Balmoral than your annual commute. Private jets for a quick dash to a polo match? Check. Mega yacht invites from oligarch pals? You bet. Because nothing bonds the elite like floating on champagne-soaked decks while the planet chokes on carbon emissions. And security? Forget about it. The bill for protecting this lot runs into tens of millions yearly, courtesy of the Met Police's finest, who could be out there actually fighting crime instead of babysitting a guy whose idea of rebellion is growing a beard. Free ride. Understatement of the century. The royals don't pay income tax on their private income. Perks of being born with a silver spoon shoved so far up there it's practically a family heirloom. We foot the bill for their lifestyles, from the £100 million plus renovation of Buckingham Palace, while council houses rot, to the endless stream of bespoke suits and organic kale deliveries. And he calls it tough. That's not hardship, that's having your cake, eating it, and then demanding we bake another one. But here's the real kicker, the part that makes you want to hurl your remote at the telly. While William's out there playing the sensitive soul, ordinary Brits are getting crushed under the weight of a system that prioritizes pomp over people. Take the NHS, that battered beacon of post-war hope, now on its knees. Waiting lists hit record highs, over 7 million souls in limbo as of last count, with cancer patients dying before they even get scanned. A tough year for a royal means cancelling a garden party. For a family in Liverpool, it means watching mum waste away because the chemo slots are booked solid thanks to underfunding and staff burnout. Nurses striking for a living wage. William sends thoughts and prayers from his heated towel rails. Families bankrupting themselves on private care because the public system's been hollowed out by decades of right-wing slashing. Crickets from the palace, unless it's time to trot out a vague Instagram post about mental health awareness. As if a hashtag fixes systemic rot. And don't think this is ancient history. Fast forward to 2025 and it's only gotten worse. Inflation's still biting, energy bills are highway robbery, and food banks are handing out 3-day parcels like candy at a parade. Yet William, with his Earthshot Prize bollocks, that eco-PR stunt dressed up as philanthropy struts around preaching sustainability from a carbon footprint the size of Luxembourg. Spare us. You're not saving the planet. You're greenwashing a dynasty built on colonial plunder and inherited wealth. The monarchy's tough year is, well, self-inflicted drama scandals, family feuds, and the occasional leak about who said what at Christmas lunch. For the rest of us, it's endless grind, 0-hour contracts, and the gnawing fear that one bad diagnosis could wipe you out. William's not just out of touch, he's a walking, talking insult to every taxpayer who's ever wondered why their council tax funds fairy tale weddings instead of fixing potholes. Let's call it what it is, mockery. Pure unadulterated piss-taking. This silver spoon slacker who's never punched a clock or worried about a paycheck has the brass neck to equate his pampered existence with genuine suffering. Toughest year? Try telling that to the widow in Birmingham whose husband croaked on a trolley in A&E because elective surgeries got canned during yet another efficiency drive. Or the dad in Glasgow skipping meals so his kids can eat, all while William's quaffing £200 bottles of fizz at state banquets. It's not empathy he lacks, it's a shred of self-awareness. The guy's a joke. One big helium-filled balloon of hot air, floating above the mess he helps perpetuate. Born into billions, buffered by privilege and still belly-aching. That's not resilience, that's delusion. Worse, it perpetuates the myth that the royals are somehow above the fray, these mystical figures who serve us by existing. They serve up inequality on a silver platter. The Crown Estate? Billions in assets, profits funneled back to the royals via the sovereign grant? A neat little loop where we own the land, they profit from it, and we get to bow and scrape in return. Tax-free estates like Sandringham and Balmoral, playgrounds for the posh, off-limits to the proles unless you're mowing the lawns. And the security tab? Skyrocketing because God forbid some Republican waves a sign too close to the Bentley parade. While cops are stretched thin chasing burglars in high streets, we've got billions earmarked to shield a family that's richer than Croesus from the consequences of their own irrelevance. Contrast that with the British citizen, the real MVP of this farce. We're the ones paying taxes that prop up this outdated circus. VAT on your weekly shop? Straight to the exchequer, which then divvies up a chunk to keep the Windsors in tiaras. National insurance deductions from your sweat-soaked shifts. Part of that funds the NHS, sure, but also the royal bubble that insulates William from ever knowing what a waiting list feels like. We're the suckers at the table, anteing up for a game we didn't choose. While the house, in this case, a ginger-haired gambler with a god complex, rakes in the pot. And when we dare complain, out come the defenders, bleating about tradition and stability. Tradition? Like the one where queens clip corgi nails with diamond clippers. Stability? Tell that to the economy tanking under Brexit bollocks, partly cheered on by royal-adjacent politicos. William's whinging isn't harmless. It's harmful. It normalises the idea that luxury is a right, that moaning from a mansion is relatable. It distracts from the rot. A health service on life support, schools without books, streets without bins, his difficult year narrative. It's a smokescreen, keeping the spotlight on palace intrigue while the public purse bleeds. Imagine if that energy went into lobbying for NHS funding instead of schmoozing celebs at galas. But no easier to hop on a jet to Tinseltown for an award show, flash a smile and pretend you're relatable. Enough. It's time to stop indulging this delusion. The monarchy isn't having a tough year, it's coasting on fumes of feudal fantasy. Prince William? He's the punchline to a joke that's been running too long. A balding bloke in ill-fitting crowns, pretending his trust fund traumas trump terminal illness in tower blocks. We're not buying it anymore. Cut the crap, William. Your life's a lottery win we never entered, and your sob stories are salt in the wound for everyone else fighting to survive. Ditch the Bentleys, pay some tax, and maybe, just maybe, earn a tough year that matters. Until then, you're not a victim, you're the villain in a velvet robe, and we're done laughing.